Hey everybody, welcome back to a special edition of the No Vacancy Podcast. We're doing this on audio and video today because we're covering big breaking news. Just this morning, it was announced that Aimbridge Hospitality, North America's largest independent hotel management firm, and Interstate Hotels and Resorts, another massive company, maybe I think the second biggest management company out there, are going to combine. While there's no new name yet for the combined companies, it's a pretty exciting thing that's happening here in our industry. More mergers are afoot, just like my guest here, Mr. Bruce Ford of Lodging Econometrics has predicted. But Bruce, before we get to you, I want to say that this video is sponsored by the good folks over at SkyTouch, the industry's leading PMS. Be sure to check them out at skytouchtech.com. Bruce Ford, big news today. What do you make of it?
Well, Glenn, the combined company is going to operate hotels in 49 states and 20 countries and have a new construction pipeline of almost 100 projects.
And they have 1,400 projects already together that are open and operating. My God, Bruce, what a massive company that these two CEOs, Dave Johnson of Aimbridge and Dave Johnson of Aimbridge and Mike Dietermeyer of Interstate are bringing together.
To give you an idea of the scale, they're going to be running more rooms than Hyatt Hotels Corporation. They're going to approach running more rooms than Intercontinental Hotel Group. Not quite the size of Hilton and certainly not quite the size of Marriott. But imagine that they're going to be running so many of the luxury, upper upscale and upper mid-scale brands across the country. They're going to wield enormous power with brand optimizations, with brand reconfigurations that we've never seen in the industry before. It's quite remarkable.
Right. So to me, on the management side of the business, this is tantamount to the big Starwood Marriott merger from a few years ago. I think it's just that seminal. It's just that significant because two massive companies already are combining to create one expanded, giant-sized powerhouse. So, Bruce, what this leads me to think about is how is this going to affect all the other management companies out there first, and then I want to get into the to the brands. I think it makes it a lot more difficult for the other brands to be able to, the other management companies to be able to do what they're doing at the size and scale of what this new combined company might be able to achieve. How do you see it?
Well, scale is important in today's marketplace, particularly when you're competing for employees. Also, when you're thinking about regional hubs of operations, scale is important. And I think that, Arne Sorensen from Marriott brought us all around to that when he's kind of said that, Marriott's buying Starwood because we can't grow that fast by doing it any other way. And, at this point, I think, and I said many times on your podcast, Glenn, and publicly on stage, that the mergers are not done. In the hotel industry, we're going to see more. So this was a really exciting announcement this morning to see, and hopefully it will be a new watershed moment in the hotel industry for the power of third-party management companies.
Yeah, it's absolutely a big deal for third-party management companies, but when you have one company with so many hotels, how is that going to affect their sway with the brands that they partner with for the individually flagged properties?
Well, I think much of what will occur is yet to be determined.
Of
but
course.
If you think about it, if you chose Interstate over Aimbridge as your management company, and now they're a combined entity, what might some of that play out as over the next 12 months in terms of looking for somebody else because you don't want to play with the biggest Loch Ness monster in the pond, per se. As we found out with Marriott and Marriott and Starwood, some of that was just a lot of chest pumping, as we haven't seen so much change as was anticipated. So maybe we'll withhold judgment about whether a third-party owner would be interested in changing management companies because of the scale of this new organization.
Well, to me, I think it makes it that much harder for all the other management companies out there to be able to compete on the same level. They were already a little bit behind, but maybe it'll actually make their jobs easier now that I'm thinking about it. Perhaps individual owners that provide the property for the management companies to run don't want to deal with such a massive company. Perhaps they want to deal with smaller companies leaving an opportunity for some of the more typical size management companies to find continued success in the future.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if some of the portfolios of some companies break away in chunks, from the larger
Right.
entity. That wouldn't be surprising at all. And it'll be exciting to see it play out, as the operating performance kind of peaks off and as we go into a new construction opening phase. It's fair to say also that Interstate plays a very big role in that new construction pipeline, a significant contributor in both the U.S. and in Europe.
Right.
They have a great flagship operation in Europe that they've grown quite substantially over the past couple of years. And the Interstate CEO is going to kind of take a global role for the company. And Dave Johnson for Aimbridge is going to step in as kind of the head operations around here in North America.
Yep. And believe it or not, this transaction is expected to close by the end of the year. That's pretty quick. It seems like these guys are pretty well aligned. But from being on the road and having relationships, we already know that these guys get along pretty well. So it's probably a big, giant love fest over there today.
Well, it's going to be exciting, Glenn. 3 weeks to the
Yep.
lodging conference. It will be the talk of the town at the JW Marriott in Phoenix in a couple of weeks.
So let's open it all to of you who are either listening or watching. I want to know what you think out there. If you're watching this, drop a comment in the section right below here. Let us know what you believe about it. Or if you're listening to the audio feed, drop Bruce and I a line. You can find me at Traveling Glenn, or just drop us a note on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever you get them. Or Bruce, how can we find you?
BFINNH on Twitter, of course, Lodging Econometrics on LinkedIn, and both on Facebook as well. So if we can help you with any of the details about what's going on, please let us know.
Great. Awesome. So I want to thank you guys for listening. If you haven't subscribed to the No Vacancy podcast and video series, be sure to do that. Go check us out at novacancynews.com for all that information. Thanks for paying attention, and we'll see you guys next time.